Hi guys, it's your girl Makhoto Mashachi and you're on Alpha Talks. Thank you very much for the love, thank you for the support. So guys, we're still on the series The Roots to Self-Love, but this time around I'm tired of talking about problems. I'm tired of talking about this issue, that issue. I want us to now take a turn and look at the solutions, the different ways in which we can try and deal with the low self-esteem, etc., etc. As you already know, this is based on my personal experience, so for you it might be different. So what I'm going to do is the next coming videos I'll try to get a few people that have also been through low self-esteem to come share their own experiences and the things that helped them deal with their low self-esteem. So guys, the first video that I took where I was explaining the low self-esteem, I spoke about the 3 types of people or the 3 types of levels that a person goes to: the imposter stage, the rebel, and the victim. The imposter, you pretend that everything is okay, you pretend that you are confident, you can do this, you can do that, while actually you have low self-esteem and you do not believe in yourself. You fear failure, so you don't get out of your comfort zone. You just want to do things in a certain way, you don't try things, and etc., etc. The rebel, you are just basically arrogant, you have an ego, you do risky behavior, you take risks, but not the good type of risks, the risks that could actually hurt you or endanger your life or something like that. The victim, we are basically just blaming everyone. We are blaming the whole world for everything that we are going through. So now the question is, how do we deal with this? How do we deal with the low self-esteem, and how do we get out of that situation? And the first step for me was acceptance, because now there's a difference between denying the fact that I have low self-esteem. I don't believe that I have low self-esteem. I'm denying it, and what I'm doing is I just keep on lying to myself and lying to everyone else that I don't believe in myself, so that maybe one day, hopefully, the lie will become the truth. That's not how it works. You need to first accept. You need to accept that I have low self-esteem. You need to accept that I have certain fears. You need to accept that I don't like failure. You need to accept that the reason I portray myself as a person who has this ego, and the reason I'm so arrogant or whatever you choose to call yourself, is because of the low self-esteem. It's because I don't believe in myself. Especially the people who bully other people, the people who say bad things about other people, the people who look down on other people. Usually they believe that by looking down on other people, it will help them become the greater person. It will help them become better than the other person. So they're just in denial and they continue bullying and bullying and bullying. So the first step is acceptance. The minute you accept that I have a problem and I need help, that is where you can actually start working towards it. You don't have to accept it to the whole world. You don't have to accept it to you don't have to announce it. You don't have to go on top of a mountain and say, I have low self-esteem. But you as a person, you need to sit down and ask yourself, why am I doing these things? Why am I doing this? Why this and this? Yes, and this is because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and because I don't think I'm good enough. And what is causing this thing? What caused my low self-esteem? Where did all this start? You need to sit down and go back and figure out what's going on. Most people prefer getting help from someone else. They prefer talking to a friend and the friend making them realize certain things. But if you're a private person like me, then rather sit back, do your own self-introspection so that you figure out where did it all start, because you are not born with it. I've already said that. You are not born with low self-esteem. You are not born with that. So you need to sit down and ask yourself, if you're the imposter, why is it that I always portray myself to be this perfect human being who has no fears, but I can't get out of my comfort zone? I can't do that one thing that I've always wanted to do. Why? Where did it all start? Have I always been like this? And if that is the case, why am I always like this? Or did something happen to me that caused me to be like this? Is it something that someone said? Is it because in grade whatever I failed? Or is it, why am I going through this? Why am I feeling this? Why am I doing this? And if you're very arrogant, ask yourself, why is it that I always want to be right? Why is it that I don't care about other people's opinions? Why is it that I really just don't I just don't care about anyone else? I hurt people's feelings. I don't try to understand where other people are coming from. I look down on other people. I try to make sure that I'm the one who's heard. I try to make sure that I'm the one who's on top. Why is this happening? Why am I doing this? Does this thing give me joy? Or am I just doing it so that I can go through this? Ask yourself that question. After you've accepted, you need to know why and where it started. And if you're the victim, why am I blaming everyone? Why is it never on me? Why is it always on my mother, on my brother, on my sister? Why did it start there? How did I get to this point? The question you need to ask, how did I get to this point? And yes, this is what's going on. The minute you accept that you have low self-esteem and you ask the why, it will be easier for you to know how to deal with everything. For me, as I've already explained, I was bullied in primary and high school, and the reason I've been to the rebel stage, I've been to the imposter stage, and I've also been to the victim stage. And the question I asked myself was why, and I figured out this is where it started, because I asked myself, why is it that Makgotso back in Wham Bushbuck Reach, you were very confident, you did so many things, but now you are here and you're not doing anything? And I found the answer, because people were saying things about you, and you got to a point where you didn't think you were good enough. You got to a point where you thought you are just not beautiful, you're just not worth it, you are just that other thing. And how did I move from that stage? This is what I did personally. If you are going through something similar to me, I wrote a list. I wrote a list of the things that are positive about me. So basically, I wrote a list of 100 things. It's the most difficult thing I've ever had to do in my whole entire life, because I never thought I was beautiful. So for me to find those good things about me took me months, writing that list. Every day I'll try to write something good about myself. I'll try and look at the negativity and turn it into a positive thing. Even if your reason is stupid, just turn it into something. Because my reasons, some of them were stupid, but I did them. An example that I can give you is the fact that I hated my lips. As I've already explained, I thought my lips were thick and they were too big and they were too everything, and people would say things about me. And I told myself, you know what, when I put on lipstick, my lips just pop out and I look so pretty, because whatever, and I don't actually put on lipstick. I can't put on lipstick, guys, that's a secret, don't tell anyone. But basically, just try and look at the negatives and turn the negatives into the positive if you can't find the positives. So try and look at the positive things about you. Also try and think about the things that other people have been saying about you, and ask yourself, why does this person think I'm beautiful? Maybe it's because I have small eyes. Maybe it's because I have a big nose. Maybe it's because this and this and this. The other things that your friends tell you, the people in your life tell you, ask yourself. That is how you build up a list of 100 things. Yes, 100 things. They can be stupid. It doesn't have to be physical. I talk too much. I'm always talking too much. And then the question is, what is the positive thing about talking too much? I have small fingers. What is positive about having small fingers? Basically, just look at every aspect in your life. Look at every aspect. And that way you learn to appreciate yourself. You get to see that actually the negative things are not so negative after all, because behind every negative thing there are at least 4 positive things. So for me, in that, I try to find every negative thing about myself and try and then from that I try to find the 4 positive things, so that in that way it helped me start to appreciate myself more. But also I started speaking to myself in a very nicer way and in a polite way. So when I make a mistake, I'm no longer saying, stupid Makgotso, stupid. It's more like, Makgotso, you're human, you make mistakes, when I can't run, I'm like, oh my gosh, Makgotso, you're so fat, you can't run. No, Makgotso, this is not your strength. You have other things that you can do. You are the queen, you can do whatever. So I tried speaking positive things to myself, saying positive things about myself, so that I can change the way I talk to myself, because also the way you speak about yourself is what hurts you, is what kills your self-esteem, So from me being the negative Makgotso who didn't think I was good enough, I tried to explain to myself why you're doing this, and I tried to promise myself we will try and do better next time, we will try and do better. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine, His name is Tony, and Tony, we were talking about how I lost a few opportunities in life, and because I also feared failure. I lost a lot of opportunities in life and it hurts, whatever. And he said something to me, Makgotso, because we are praying people, because we are people that pray, we actually get to a point where sometimes the things that are not for us, God takes away. We don't get the things that we want because God knows it's not what's good for us. God knows it's not what's best for us. And that was always the motivation that I gave myself. When I apply for something and I don't get it, then yes, I thought it was good for me, but God doesn't think it's good for me. So in those words as well also pushed me to actually start accepting that I might not get everything in this world. But why? Because they are not all for me, because God knows better than I do. So you need to have that sense of reasoning, a positive way of reasoning, a positive way of thinking, a positive way of doing everything for you to change. And the other thing that I did, which is the most difficult thing ever, every morning before I go to class, I remind myself that I'm a beautiful girl. I say something positive about myself, even though it doesn't, how do I put it? Even though sometimes it doesn't feel like it's real, it feels like I'm lying to myself, I force myself to believe it. Understand this, there's a difference between forcing yourself to believe something that is real and pretending as if you don't have a problem. I knew I had a problem. I knew I didn't think I was beautiful, but I forced myself to believe I'm beautiful until I actually got to that point where I realized that I am beautiful, So you also need to try and work towards doing that. Try speaking to yourself nicely. So I know I'm just going jabber. So I'm going to explain it in an easier way. The first thing that you need to do is accept that you have a problem. You need to accept that I have low self-esteem. I don't believe in myself. I don't love myself. Secondly, ask yourself, why am I going through this? Where did it all start? What is the root of the problem? Thirdly, if you have a similar problem as me, write that list. Write a list that tells you why you are this amazing person. So for me, what I did, as I already said, I first looked for the negative things, and out of the negative things, I tried to find at least 4 positive things about it. It was very difficult, but it forces you to think hard. That's why I didn't say 5, I didn't say 6, I said 100, because 100 forces you to go deeper and think of the most stupid things ever. But those stupid things that you're going to think of are those things that are going to make you realize that, you know what, they're stupid, but this is me. They're stupid, but this is how special I am. They're stupid, but this is what makes me who I am. Number 4, from that, you need to start speaking positive about yourself. You need to start being positive about yourself. You need to start encouraging yourself, understanding that you're human, not being too hard on yourself, taking things one step at a time. And lastly, fake it till you make it. How do I mean when I say fake it till you make it? I basically mean that you need to remember this. Don't fake the fact that you're confident. Fake the fact that you think you're beautiful. I know it sounds the same, but it's not. You know that you have low self-esteem, but look in that mirror and lie to yourself, if you want to call it that. Lie to yourself and say, Makhoto, you're beautiful, until you believe that I am actually beautiful, So fake it till you make it. Remember though, when I say fake it till you make it, because most people actually don't understand what I mean by that. They think I mean pretend as if low self-esteem is not there. Know that it's there. But fake it till you make it. Walk like a queen until you actually feel like a queen. Walk like a king until you actually feel like you're a king. But first, you need to go through all those other steps that I told you about. So those are just a few things that I did for myself when I was going through my low self-esteem. But as I've already said, I will try and get people who will come and share their experiences with low self-esteem, how it started, and maybe they'll also give you guys tips on how it worked out. After all, I'm not a professional. I'm just saying what worked for me, and they will have something different that worked for them. And in that way, it will be easier for you to try all our different ways, and maybe something different will work on you. And please, if there is something that you're willing to share, a tip that you're willing to share, comment on the videos. Let us know what your experience is and what you did to get out of that low self-esteem, because a lot of people need these things. They need to know how to get out of this painful thing that we are currently going through. So guys, for today, that is all that I had to share. We are still on the route to self-love. Thank you very much for viewing the video. Let us try and find solutions. We are now trying to look at a positive way. We're trying to find solutions. Thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Makhoto Mahlaji, and you are on Alpha Talks, and I love you so much. And yes, you are worth it. You are enough. You are amazing. Believe it. Mwah.